Assertive telephone selling skills. My name's Adam Kaplan. I hope you enjoy this training session. This is the Assertive Telephone Selling module. One of the keys to being successful in selling is understanding everything about questioning and answering questions with a question. We looked at this in previous training. Assertive selling allows you to help people make far more buying decisions than any other sales method. It's something you'd have seen in the psychology of selling, and it's pretty simple. A basic sales message could be this: I'd like to make an appointment to discuss your company's requirements for my product or service. It's simple and it can be very effective. A more advanced sales message could be something like this: I feel that our product or service will benefit your company by outline of the main benefits. So I'd like to make an appointment to discuss your company's requirements for my product or service. It could be any other, such as, would you like to make an appointment for a rep to visit? Whilst this gets results, I'd like you to consider the following. And this is the assertive sales model, which uses 3 elements of assertiveness with a sales twist. And here's an example. I appreciate that you're very busy. However, the situation is that our online training platform has really helped our clients develop their staff and provided a tremendous return on investment. So I'd like to find out when it would be convenient to have a discussion with you to see if our platform is relevant to your business. Would that be okay? So the assertive sales model can be broken down into 6 component parts. Part 1, the acknowledgement. Part 2, the word however. Part 3, which is the reason to buy. Part 4, the word so. Part 5, the next step. And Part 6, the close, which will always be, would that be okay? We have broken the assertive sales model down into its component parts. Let's look at Part 1, the acknowledgement. In the acknowledgement, we have a number of examples here. I appreciate. I understand. I hear that. I see that. I know that. Generally, I appreciate and I understand will be the ones you use the most. Let's look at some acknowledgement examples. I appreciate that your company receives many sales calls. I understand that your company has recently an action relevant to your offering. I appreciate that you're a busy person. I hear what you're saying. The use of acknowledgements must be extensive throughout your discussions, and there can be the words like okay, alright, or further acknowledgements such as this. When discussing acknowledgements, it's important for you to remember that an acknowledgement shows 1. You understand the customer's point of view. 2. You've heard them, if they spoke first. 3. It helps you stay in control of the conversation whilst giving them the impression that they're in control. And 4, it shows that you're interested in the customer and it makes them feel important and valued. All of which are vital to building that customer-buyer relationship. Let's move on to point 2, the word however. This is a vital word that can never be altered in the assertive sales model. It keeps you in control of the conversation immediately after the acknowledgement. However is a more positive word than the very negative but. Let's look at part 3, the reason to buy. Now with the reason to buy, there are many phrases you can use, depending on your business, product or service, and also depending on what the customer needs and wants. It must not be a question, and it's always a statement in the assertiveness model. Let's look at some examples of reason to buy. The reason I've called is to introduce my company to you so that your business can benefit from the solution of their problem that your product or service offers. Another one could be, the situation is that we can offer your company a solution to their problem. There are so many different variations of the reason to buy phrase that I don't want to go into too much detail with it, but I'll give you a couple more. I believe that your company, and this is mentioning an issue or problem or a situation relevant to their business, and we have a solution answer idea that will help the business. So for example, I believe that your company is looking to increase the quality of your sales staff, but we have an answer that can help your business do that. And the last one I'll give you, many of our customers have had a problem or situation or issue, and our product or service has really helped them. This gives you a formula so you can create your own reason to buy statements. Remember though, it's not a question. Lastly, on reason to buy, whatever phrase or type of phrase you use, it must relate to them. After all, it's their reason to buy from you, not your reason to sell to them. And it's very important to be customer centric on this. Let's move on to the fourth word, which is a small one but important. Part 4 of assertiveness is the word so. It's always the word so, in the same way that point 2 is always however. This is a vital connector word between the reason to buy and the next stage, which is what you'd like to do next. Stage 5, the next step. Here is where you introduce what you want to happen. You've acknowledged the customer and their situation. You've given them a reason to buy, and now you can guide the customer towards the close. Here's some examples of what I mean. So, now I've included the fourth step in this to give it some flow. So, what I'd like to do is, so my company can offer you 3. So you would benefit from my product or service by 4. So the next stage or step would be 2. And this is really much about where you set the scene for the taking of the order. So in an instance it might be, so what I'd like to do is to give you a trial of the system. So my company can offer you beneficial trading rates. So my company can offer you bespoke design. Part 3. So you would benefit from having my product because your competitors wouldn't, and you would have an advantage on them. And 4. So the next stage or step would be to sign the order, to go ahead, etc. So these steps are to be whatever you want the customer to do next. Ultimately, it's what happens next. We are defining for the customer exactly what we want to happen. Please note, we have not asked any questions yet. Okay, on to the very last part of the assertiveness sales model. Part 6. Would that be okay? No other question is needed. It can only be, would that be okay? Not, how does that sound? Or how do you feel about that? Simply, would that be okay? Would that be okay? It's a simple that is soft yet ruthless in its simplicity. It is the ultimate close. Once asked, do not speak until the customer does. The reason why it's such a ruthless and clever close is that it's a very soft question. Would that be okay? Most of the time when somebody says to you in your life, would that be okay? Is that okay? You generally will answer, yeah, that's fine. People are predisposed to answer in the affirmative with this. Would that be okay? Closes the sale. Let's recap the 6 parts of the assertive sales model. 1. The acknowledgement. 2. The word however. 3. The reason to buy. 4. The word so. 5. The next step. And 6. The close, which is, would that be okay? So if I now give you that full assertive sales phrase that we did earlier, I hope you'll feel and see how it works in greater detail. I appreciate that you're very busy. However, the situation is that our online training platform has really helped our clients develop their staff and provided a tremendous return on investment. So I'd like to find out when it would be a convenient time to have a chat with you and see if our platform is relevant to your business. Would that be okay? The reason that assertive telephone skills are important is because on the telephone, your techniques are the only way you can keep the customer on the phone. I hope you've enjoyed the assertive sales model. It's something that we use extensively within our training business. I hope you've enjoyed assertive telephone skills. Many of my clients have found this to be a very, very, very important part of their sales training and something that has given them tremendous results. Good luck with the assessment that follows this module.